Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. It is good to see you. I was just wondering if I was going to get to go on because my internet was playing up and Todd was in the middle of sharing a story and I didn't get hardly any of it. 'Cause anyway, uh, just the way it
That
is,
might have
just
been
the way
good
it
news.
is. May have been. Anyway, it's good to have Todd and Wayne with us today. I'm going to put them in the background and I'm going to show you guys
Good
what we're
idea.
after today. Yeah. On the lay today is something blue. Um, this is gold and blue resin, and you may be able to see the remnants of the edges of some wood that is in there. If I change over to this one, you'll see there's lots of wood. These are cut-offs from pen blanks. Pen blanks are always, at least for me, they're always too long. And so that's what we're going to work on. I just grabbed them randomly out of my cutoff box and I threw them in this cottage cheese container and then filled it with resin. So as I was telling the guys earlier, we may have a whole bunch of air pockets. We may not. I don't know what we've got, but there are no cracks on the outside whatsoever. No heat cracks or anything like that. It was a beautiful casting. So we're just going to see this will end up being my bottom. The top will be the other side. We're just going to see what we're going to do. We'll start off with there we go, an easy wood finisher just to get it rounded up and balanced out. So let's get going. And these guys can let me know who all is in the chat.
Are you there, Wayne?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. It sounded like Doug made it all the way through that and then broke up right into like the last word.
He
Oh,
did.
did I?
He
So
broke
Okay.
up, but he's back again. He's back again.
I see Wayne is in the chat. Karsten Peterson's in the chat. Malcolm Douglas says good evening to everybody. Uh, Dale Old Man River, he's in the chat. Roger Kent, Anthony Green, Todd at Glen Cove. Let's Dances with Aardvarks. Mike is out there. Al Dawson is out there. Copper Al Wood Turning. Rob, he's in there. Scrolling. Roger Wallum is out there. Mike Evans says good evening, everyone. Wivey Woodshed
That's Andrew.
is out there. Yeah, let's see. Angry Wood Turner is in there. That's I don't remember.
I don't
Roger.
remember either.
Roger? Let's see. Michael McEwen. Did I say him before? I think maybe I did.
Did you get Clint Hitchcock?
Nope. No, I saw Clint earlier. Clint Hitchcock did not mention his name yet. Doug Bennett is in there.
Ronald Todd.
Ronald Todd is out there. Yes. Hello. It refreshed on me. Let's see. Mike Evans. I've called before. Did I get everyone now, Wayne? Did I?
I think so. I'm just scrolling down the last bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody who was in has had a mention. If we have missed anybody, we do apologise. If you put something in the comment, we will catch your name.
Yeah. We were talking weather before. It's in the 90s here in Dallas. I think Doug was saying higher 90s over there in Kentucky.
Yes,
I was
yes.
saying it.
I cut I cut up a walnut tree yesterday in the 90. It was 98 while we were cutting a tree up.
Whew.
Craziness. You'll be seeing that
Dear.
walnut in the days to come.
No, our temperature's dropped a whole load, but it is going back up for this weekend, I think.
I tell you what, I do not like having this resin and wood in my mouth. I just don't.
That's hardly surprising. Mind you, it would probably taste better than cottage cheese.
No, no, it doesn't.
which was the container the wood was in earlier. If you weren't here,
Right.
Mick Dews says
Hey,
hello.
Mick.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
Wayne, I'm with you. I can do without the cottage cheese.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, so does Jane. I don't understand that at all. I really don't.
Ah, where that is rough, where it's not round, it just. In fact, I want to look and see what we got. I bet you, yeah, the edge between where I've turned and where I've not turned is just shattered. But
Oh, really?
It smooths right out. Yeah, because it's not balanced there. This is not
Yeah.
completely flat right here. But here it is, and it's smooth where it's flat.
Right. Mike said it puts hairs on your chest, but they are plastic. I think he's talking about the cottage cheese. Carsten
No,
has said
I thought he
Go on.
was talking about eating the shavings coming off.
Oh,
of
yeah.
that,
Okay,
that
you
plank.
could be right there. Yeah. Carsten
Phew.
has said that he likes cottage cheese. Sadly, his stomach doesn't appreciate it.
It is
Now,
like
Mike,
milk gone bad or something, isn't it?
yeah, it is. Michael McEwen has said he had a great time at the AAW symposium, highlighted by finally meeting Emma and Stuart Farini. Emma Cook and Stuart Farini.
Two of my
Both-
favorite creative turners.
Yeah, both lovely people. I know both of them. Well, I know Emma very well. I know Stuart fairly well. Zed's in. Evening, Zed. And Mark Stroughton's
Hey,
in.
Zed.
Good evening, Mark.
Hey, Mark. I am turning at 12:40 if anybody's interested. Sometimes people are, sometimes they're not.
Mike says the caffeine levels are dangerously low.
He'll be right back.
We were just talking about that. All right. I like the way this cuts a whole lot better with the bowl gouge.
That carbide you had up there a while ago, was that a regular carbide or negative rake?
It was regular. Yeah, negative rake would have made a lot of difference. Well, it's not quite what I want. Trying to go ahead and get the bottom, and we're not smooth just yet on the. There we are. Little foot I was making was not smooth.
Right. The Angry Wood Turner has said he missed the AAW, but was thinking about SWAT. Does anyone recommend it? Now, I've never actually been to any of the symposiums in the States, but I have heard from various people that SWAT is very, very good.
I thoroughly enjoy SWAT every year. I think I've been like 7 or 8 years. I get there Thursday night, do every session I can, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Saturday night they have like a dinner and big presentation of drawing names and stuff for for prizes. A lot of the featured turners and stuff bring pieces up there and put them into the drawing. Really fun night every time. The lunches every day are great. You get to sit there with people you never seen or talked to before, and just a big happy family. I love it.
Yeah. Todd, isn't SWAT all inclusive?
It really is, right? You with your admission, you get lunch every day. You have to pay extra for the banquet on Saturday night,
Right.
But
Right.
it's yeah, it's pretty affordable for what it is. And then before COVID, the vendor area was crazy big and popular, and it's seen a little decline in the last couple of years, but there's still a lot of vendor support there, and a lot of opportunities to drool over equipment and spend money that you don't tell your wife about.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Michael McEwen said he purchased a piece of Stuart Farini's work in one of SK Craft's charity auctions a few years back. He took it to St. Paul with him and now have a picture of himself and Stuart and the bowl.
that's cool.
And he's
Excellent.
also said that SWAT is by far the best symposium in the US, if not the world. Now, I believe Michael's got to travel a fair distance to get
Yes.
to SWAT because I believe Michael's on the West Coast, isn't he?
West coast of Canada. Yep. He's pretty far up. Foo. Get rid of some of those shavings. But it's coming along. It's coming along. We're just gonna keep going.
He's also said that it's far less expensive than the AAW.
Yeah.
I would quote you prices, but I would get them wrong. But the symposium itself is very affordable, especially if you prepay. Paying at the door, they almost double the price. So it's not as affordable at the door, but it's very affordable in advance. And the convention center that it takes place at is co-located with the Hilton, and the Hilton is a little expensive to stay there, but that's where all of the demonstrators and everybody stays, is in that Hilton. And so the restaurant and hotel bar on the first floor there is very active with people just hanging out and talking wood.
Yeah. Oh,
Really,
Lucy's just come in.
really
Good
fun.
evening, Lucy.
Sweet potato.
Yeah, I think the only way I'd be afford to go is if I won the lottery.
Yeah.
I don't know how they compensate demonstrators, but Wayne, I would think that you'd be able to apply as a demonstrator and get accepted there.
No, I'll give that a miss. I think.
Yeah.
Angry Wood Turner said he thinks the prepay is $190. Now that's not bad. That's
No.
not a bad
Not at
price.
all.
But yet again, I've got the flights and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's $190 is pretty close to half of what AAW is if you pay the full thing.
Ronald Todd has said, and this is getting back to turning. Ronald Todd said, "Oh, so we were talking turning, but not directly with this." Ronald said, "I find he finds that he gets less chipping if he's less aggressive. Carbide works better for me on resin, but each to their own."
And I would say you're 100% correct.
Is good to be king, who is Gregory, has said, hello from North Carolina.
How you doing, Gregory? Glad to have you.
Back to that carbide. Carbide. If you can turn fast on it, the faster the better it
Yep.
seems too.
Yep.
So
Yep. I was just thinking, crank it up a little more. Let's go up to 1640. I got to stop and get the savings are getting behind my safety glasses.
well,
Okay.
we know Zed is here. I just heard that the CEO of IKEA was elected Prime Minister of Sweden. Apparently, he is currently assembling his cabinet.
There you go.
Mike said he don't know about resin, but slightly blunt tools work well on a lot of plastics. Well, I think resin is basically plastic anyway, isn't it?
It is. carbides are either sharp or they're blunt. There's no, they're not
Yeah,
like regular high-speed steel.
there's no in between.
No.
Haley's in. Good evening, Haley.
Phew. Let's see. This might be fun. Yeah. Oh me. Little air will take care of that.
That's a
There
good
we go.
reason for not turning resin.
I agree. This may be my second and last resin turning. I've turned one before. Well, actually, no, I've turned a few pins. Pins are not bad. These bigger blanks like this, I kind of like what I've got there as far as shape goes. Except that I want a foot on it. But that's easy enough.
And Greg has had the same thought as me.
Zed referred to you as the shop Yeti.
That's about the truth of it.
And Zed's just put a link into his premiere for later on, which
Perfect.
is a apricot crotch-ish bowl.
There we go. Good to have you.
Yeah, and Dale has said the only way he would ever get to the AW if it was in upstate New York. And Ronald is asking you, Doug, have you decided what you're turning yet?
Well, sort of, kind of. You kind of see what it is right now. This is going to be the bottom here, top. Just kind of have this rounded over. I want to round this top just a little bit more. It's a little flat still. Yeah, that's looking better.
I'm liking that shape.
In fact, I kind of like the idea. Todd, you're talking about that rim at the top. I kind of like. That's not too shabby. It's got a little hump right here. There.
Now that's pretty cool.
And I just realized what this shape is. That's the jar of a marshmallow cream. I don't know what you guys call that in across the pond, but over here, marshmallow cream comes in a jar shaped almost like that.
I've got no idea what that is.
I know you've got it. It's just what's it called? That's the only question.
Is that the secondary ingredient in a Rice Krispie treat?
Yeah, buddy. Well, you can use plain marshmallows, but
Well, sure,
yes.
but basically it's pre-melted marshmallow in my mind.
Yeah, right. Well, it's before it gets solid.
Never seen it over here.
Haley wooden burls.
No, it's not candy floss. I don't think, Mike.
That would be cotton candy.
Yeah, that's cotton candy. That's the word I was looking for.
I want to make one little detail mark in here, and not that tool. There we go.
The angry woodturner said. The angry woodturner said it's a Winnie the Pooh pot.
There you go, honey pot. That's not getting deep enough, so I got to use a skew.
A skew?
Yep. I want it deeper in here. There we go. That's all I needed right there. Then we'll round that out just a little bit as a scraper.
Zed said we might know it as marshmallow fluff. I tell you that I still haven't heard of that. I've never seen it, unless it's been on sale when we get an American week in Lidl's.
Ah,
Lucy said, after another X-ray today, the hospital have decided that Gideon has broken his elbow, so another
my.
2 weeks, another 2 weeks in his cast, then back to the fracture clinic.
Oh,
Okay. Hate to hear that. Hope he's better soon. All right. So there we go. Some nice. Oh, a little bit much right there. Let's put it back in. I want to take that out. That's being picky, I know, but and a lot of people would say, no, it's fine, but that's just a little too much ghosting right there. And there's not that much to take off before it won't be that
And
way. So
Jenny's just come in. Good evening, Jenny.
Jenny. In fact, I'm gonna get let's just use a big old round scraper. Work on that.
Mike said that's giving me flashbacks to a shirt from the 1980s.
I think I had
Yeah,
that shirt.
I did too.
There was not necessarily, this is not for shirts in the 1980s, but there was a very big motorbike rally went on Saturday, which it's called Dave's Day, and this was a guy called Dave Myers. Him and Simon King were celebrity chefs on TV over here. I think they did some stuff in the States as well. And sadly, Dave died of cancer. Last year, they had a Dave Day, which they were both into the motorbikes, him and Si. Last year, they had what was called a Dave Day, which was a huge rally, which went, I can't remember where that one started, but it ended up in Barrow-in-Furness, which is Dave's hometown. And on Saturday, the rally went from London all the way up to Barrow-in-Furness. Absolutely thousands upon thousands of bikers, and the majority of them wore Hawaiian shirts
Oh
over
yeah.
over their leathers, because that was one of Dave's favorite type of shirts.
All right, just another pass or two, and we'll do some sanding, and then we'll get to the inside of this.
Lucy said it brought the M6 to a standstill last year. I think it was pretty close this year as well, Lucy. Ooh.
Yep, got a little thick on that last little bit.
Al's asking if anyone's having trouble with their internet connection. I hear Doug and Wayne fine.
Yeah,
So,
I'm hearing everybody fine as well, to tell you the truth.
yeah.
Yeah,
Doug
I've had a
did.
little bit of issue here, but not recently.
No, the Doug had a little bit right at the start of the video, right at the start of the live, I should say. But everything has been clear since then, so I don't know if it's down to you, Al.
I tell you, Al, with all the heat that we're having here in the eastern U.S., it wouldn't surprise me. A little spot right there.
Obviously, Ruby isn't in tonight. Ruby is still on her travels. I think she's left New Zealand and she's in Australia now, where she's probably having a wonderful time and just starting breakfast.
Probably.
Lucy said that they had to wear Hawaiian shirts to a funeral they went to recently. I love funerals like that.
Yeah. I think I'm going to sometime soon go ahead and make my funeral arrangements, and I want my son to put together a New Orleans style street band.
All right. Yeah. Mike Dances is asking, what's Paul Barnes' Doug's surname? It's Moore.
More, yes. Yes. All right, here's my sandpaper. I knew I had some out. Turn my back on. Now, last Wednesday night, I was asking our Wednesday night group at Worldwide Woodturners. I really like my new dust collection system. It works so much better than my old system did, but it's still not. I'm still finding a lot of dust down here on my weights. And so we talked about it a bit, and I've checked my hose. We thought my hose might be a big problem, but it's not the dryer type of hose, even though it looks like it. Switch out there and you can see it, I think. Yeah, well, you see it over on the right-hand side right there. Looks like the dryer hose,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's much, much smoother than dryer hose on the inside. So I don't think that's really the issue. I think the issue, well, I've got a couple of things. One, I need a trumpet bell here on the ends. And I also need to take out some of the bends. I've got a couple of tight bends in that hose.
Now, if you have
work on that, we'll go ahead.
Yeah, it's corrugated tubing or whatever that is. If you have a long run of that, it can suck out 30% of your efficiency or something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think it was Al or somebody suggested maybe putting one right underneath the ways, right in the middle there, so it's sucked down in the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have one in front and one underneath.
Yeah.
And that's a possibility. Yeah. One of our members there on Wednesday night used to work for one of the car companies designing the air intakes for the motors. And he was telling me some of their thought process when they were designing those air intakes so they get the maximum amount of air as easily as possible. And he gave me some good information. So we'll see how that goes. But that'll not today. It'll be in the weeks to come. And if I remember, I'll share with everybody.
Now, Norman Greenwell has just come in. He's in the chat from Cyprus, where he's on holiday.
All right.
Not far from where my daughter is now.
The interweb is a great thing, isn't it? One little place right there.
Mike has said he's got a workshop mascot, a tiny Steve teddy bear rescued from somebody's trash. Somebody threw out a Steve teddy bear.
Oh my. Why would they do that? What is that I'm feeling? Oh, little place right there. It'll go away. Sure. It almost looks like a crack, but it's just it's between two pieces of wood. So it's quite interesting how this wood laid down, and because like I said, I just grabbed up chunks of wood out of that scrap pile and just tossed them in. I didn't try to arrange them at all.
I've only ever been to Cyprus once, and that was a layoff, traveling back from Oman. And about the only thing I remember about it, which is not a lot, was drinking ouzo straight.
I was going to say the inside of a bar was what you remember.
Yeah, that's about it.
When I was in the military, I went to Athens and to Crete, that island out there. That's the closest I got to Cyprus. But we were warned not to drink the ouzo, or we would fail our drug test when we came back.
Yeah,
Oh my. Oh my. Now,
yeah. Now,
go
what
ahead.
Al has just said, it's 99 degrees where he is at the moment.
Oh my goodness.
Anthony Green is not long back from Cyprus after holiday, and he said it was hotter when we got back to the UK than it was in Cyprus.
Well, I can believe
Yeah.
it. I have gone from here in Kentucky out to the beach and watched the weather reports to see what's coming up the next day, and they tell us what the temperature currently was in Alaska. And Alaska sometimes is quite a bit hotter than the East Coast.
Oh yeah, yeah. I found that quite amazing, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it
I
really is.
used to read a lot of books on about Alaska, and the temperatures up there can be amazing sometimes.
Sure. For being so cold in the winter, they are so hot in the summer.
Mike said he can't drink ouzo or Pernod
Oh.
since the ouzo on the ferry incident in 1981. Mike, we'll leave that one where it is.
All right. I think we are done with sanding. I'm going to take one more step. It's not really sanding, it's a little white nylon web pad. Scotch
So I
Brite,
was
you might call it.
I was
Go
wondering
ahead.
if you were going to hit it with some axe.
Yeah, buddy. That's was my next thought.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah. Now that I've got it
we'll be able to see
sanded,
your reflection in it when you're done with that.
you probably will. You probably will. All right. Now that that part's done, I can turn off the noisemaker. All right. I really don't need the first step, the axe first step, but I am going to use the axe abrasive paste. We have sanded to 240, and we're going to, as quickly as possible, go through the axe abrasive, which should not only help the wood, but it should help the resin as well. One reason I wanted to go ahead and do this project, my wife always says, anytime she sees me watch somebody that does resin, oh, they ruined it. They put all that color in it. Why didn't they just use clear? Well, once this is done, I'm hoping when she sees it in person,
You see,
she's gonna.
I can't see that looking any better than what it is. If you use,
I'm
if
with you, Wayne.
if you use clear, I mean, clear wouldn't do anything for that.
I don't think so either. Even though it's got several.
The only way that that would look any better with clear, if you use loads and loads of exotic woods which have their own color.
Right, right. There are some of those in here, but not tons of it.
And I think because those pieces of wood you have in there were rectangular, cube shaped
Right.
items, that the clear resin would not look as good as if they were a natural edged item in there.
I think you're right.
So I like what you did there, and that color has a lot of variation in it. You can see
Yes. Yeah.
that swirling of the lighter color, and it really turned out just right.
It was funny because this is the first casting I've ever done. After watching Jake and some of the stuff he does, Jake Thompson, I found this kit in I think it was Michael's. It was in their clearance area. They were getting rid of this particular kit, which was just a little, like a, what was it, 1 quart, 2 quart? It was a small kit. And I bought some of the eye candy pigments, one of the sample boxes. I don't see it right here handy, or I'd show you the box. And I just took, it comes in the envelopes. So I took a blue one and a gold one. And I dumped the whole packet of both into this little bit of resin. So it got pretty thick pretty quick. So I was just hoping, I'm still hoping there's not a lot of big air bubbles inside, but I'm not seeing any on the outside. But it does. I think you're right, Todd. I think they look, the gold and the blue is looking pretty good with the wood. As much oak is in here, it works together nicely.
Right, we've got a couple of things. Mark S, that's Mark Stroughton, has said, I remember drinking Pernod and Port because we ran out of blackcurrant with my brothers many, many years ago. Boy, that was a great night. Zed has said, I did one resin turn over a year ago in my shop and I'm still finding resin shavings.
I bet you are.
Mike has said, was that cast without a pressure pot? No, I believe
Nope.
Doug used a pressure pot for this.
I did. I've had a pressure pot for many years now, just have never used it until this. Also got a vacuum chamber.
Greg has said it's a very nice color combination. And Al has said that's a very nice use of scrap wood.
Thank you, Al.
Which it is. No, you did say you used a lot of offcuts from pen blanks. I've seen a couple of bits in there where there's been bits drilled out.
Yeah, it looked like 1 inch round cutouts.
Semicircles.
Yeah, semicircles.
Like right there?
Yep.
That's where the curvature, I got down to the oak on the two ends, but not in the center.
Oh, I see what
that one is.
Okay.
Now there are, and same here, same there. That's a piece of walnut there. All of that is where I haven't gotten all the way down to the wood, which is fine. That just gives you something else to look at. There are some round pieces where I turned it round for some reason. I might have used it for a finial or for some other project. So there's some of those in here. There's also a couple where they have been, like a pen blank was literally drilled out, and it was. I just didn't use it all. I drilled it before I cut it.
Lucy says Doug has gone over to the dark side.
No. No. I may do some more resin as nicely as this is turning, but I'm not going to. No. It's not. No. I'm not going to the dark side. I saw, it's been probably 3 years ago, maybe 4 now, where Mike Walt did a mallet by melting, yes, he melted down like bottle caps and the like.
Oh yeah,
formed a mallet, and I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 large coffee cans full of bottle caps, plus another pretzel jar. I think there's a bag as well somewhere. So that's a project that'll come someday.
That's for doing what do you call it? The soft.
Yeah, it'd be a soft plastic mallet. It's still hard, but it will, softer than wood or even metal. Be a non-marking kind of thing. All right, we're up to 1,240 RPMs, just finishing up, trying to get all the last residue off. We're right there. In fact, I'm going to stop and reverse it just for the sake of argument.
Mike has asked, anyone seen the platter made from 3 triangles that somebody made a video of this week? Can't remember who. I think that was, oh God, his name's gone.
3 triangles. I've missed that one. Of course, I'm way behind.
It's an English guy.
Wasn't Wayne Clasper, was it?
No, it wasn't me.
Mark Beckett.
Carsten has said Andy someone. Yeah, it is Andy.
Andy Phillip.
Yeah, that'll be him.
Okay. Yeah, I know he's got a couple I haven't seen. All right. Done with the abrasive. Let's smear on a little. If I turn it around where you can see it. Polishing, restoring paste wax. This is a high content carnauba wax. And this jar is just about done. Getting ready to start a new one. I don't know about you. One of my favorite things is to start a new jar of wax or abrasive paste, either one. I just love the first couple of uses out of the jar. I keep a little folded t-shirt material in that wax jar, and that's the only thing it's used for is application. That keeps me from having all the wax absorbed into the paper towel.
I do that as well.
Yeah. One of the things about the Axe wax paste wax, it does not have any solvents in it. Some of the waxes have solvents in them, so you don't have to wait with the Axe. Some of the others are the same way. They make them with no solvents. No solvents, you can just jump right in, start buffing. But don't start it off with a whole lot of pressure.
Even with the lathe on, that is looking glass-like at the moment.
It is, isn't it?
Yes. It looks pretty good. Now that I've buffed it this long, I'm putting a little more pressure on it, build up a little bit of heat, just so I can feel it through the paper towel.
I'm a big fan of the Hampshire Sheen High Gloss.
Yes.
But that does have, I believe, a solvent in it. So you need to apply that and let that solvent flash off.
Yeah.
Then buff
I don't know if he does or not.
Oh God, I can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I know. Martin
it's usually
has said,
the is it the carnauba wax you've got to let flash off?
Right.
Well,
if it has solvents in it.
The carnauba, and I think that high gloss is carnauba based, but carnauba melts at like, and I'll use Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, but like 190 degrees Fahrenheit or something, compared to beeswax, which might be at like 135 or 140 degrees.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot more to melt some carnauba, and so a little bit of like a mineral spirit in there.
Oh yes, that's looking very nice.
Isn't that that's sweet looking?
Right, I've just put the link in for my live tomorrow night.
Okay.
Before anybody asks if I'm doing one.
Are you doing one tomorrow?
Well, I've put the link in. We'll find out.
It was a few years ago. Martin said there was absolutely no reason to wait on his Hampshire Sheen wax.
Oh, did he? Huh.
Yeah, carnauba does not have to have it. In fact, well, where is it? There it is. I could take, that's a little chunk of pure carnauba that I use on my buffing wheel, but I could take that and rub some on here and then just buff.
That friction would heat it enough to pull some off of there, and then you could buff
yes,
it.
Yes.
But his high gloss is not as hard as that. It's softer.
Right. It's soft. It could have a little bit of oil. I've never heard him say
or something in it. Yeah.
Yeah, just like the Axe does. It's got a little bitty bit of beeswax and a little bit of mineral oil, so it's not hard. But here a couple years ago, when Tom fortified his wax, it was a lot harder than it was before.
Now, Lucy has said to Todd that she loved your tool handles you shared with the group last night.
Oh, well, thank you.
Was that 360?
Wood turning 360 last night. So yesterday was a discussion day. So
and the show and tell.
And so I didn't raise my hand. I just blurted out, "Hey, look at me," and Martin said, "New guy, raise your hand." So,
New guy.
so I recently just joined. I think that might have been my first show and tell day. But yeah, that's a great group of people, and the discussions there are
Can I
really
interrupt,
good.
Doug?
Yeah.
Doug, before you try and put that in the chuck, you might want to have a look at the tenon on the bottom. I don't think it's perfectly flat. I was noticing when it was spinning that
Starting to rattle.
it might not be perfectly flat.
Yeah. The deal was this was not my chuck. This chuck was not solid around this. It got loose at the very last couple of minutes. That's what you were seeing. Yeah. Yeah.
Something I've noticed as you turn that there, something for people to consider is around that tenon down in there, when you use an axe or an abrasive paste like that, if there is even a minimal amount that gets in there, it can keep that thing from going into that chuck
Yes.
true right now.
Yes, you're exactly right. All right. I made that tenon perfect for this chuck. I meant for it to be in that other chuck, but it's too big. Even though I was looking over at it and trying to compare, it's perfect for this chuck, which I'm glad. Otherwise, we'd have been doing something different. All right. Let me move things just a little bit, get the elbow stabber out, and then I'll change cameras.
Rob from Copperella said that's pretty, Doug.
Thank you, Rob.
And Haley agrees with Lucy about the tool handles.
Thank you again. Two for two.
I missed the beating last night.
Double check, we're good. Run. All right. I'm going to go to the number one hollower to do the front of this. Oh, I got to change cameras too. There we go. Bunch of blue there. Bunch of blue. Just a hair high. There we go.
And Lucy has said, Todd, I just didn't get a chance to see I like them. That's very unusual for you, Lucy. Not getting a chance to see anything.
Well, I appreciate it. They're fun little shop projects to make. I spend way more time making them look pretty than I should because I'm just going to throw them on my bench in the shop and nick them all up.
That's all right.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the, I don't know if it's the same now with Robert Sorby tool handles, but it used to be a case a good few years ago that Robert Sorby handles were only finished with Hampshire Scene eye gloss.
I don't know.
I'm sure Martin said that a good few years ago, and I haven't heard anything different. Angry Woodturner has said, do you find it easier to drill out the inside a little?
I don't, because I've never drilled out the inside. I've always turned them out.
Yeah. Enchanted Wood Designs has said, that is one tool I do not like to use on any resin. What, the hollower?
It would be hard to get that kind of shaving with anything but a carbide on resin. The center, I've got a center area right here that I'm in right now that nothing but resin. Then it starts making racket as soon as I hit the wood.
Now, Lucy said, Andy is sat here making a stained glass window decoration with resin as we are watching. Mike has said, I picked up some Wolf Cub mini turning tools this week. Looks like they may be Sorby tools under license. I think way back when some of Sorby tools were called Wolf.
Get a little
Yeah.
more
Enchanted Wood Designs is basically not just the #1 hollower, any carbides.
Really?
Yep. And Michael McEwen has said nothing better for cutting resin than negative rake carbides.
Negative rake, fast and light.
Yeah. And I've got to say, negative rake carbides as well as resin, very, very good on very tight grained hardwoods as well.
Wow. Shoo-wee. See what, the guys who turn resin all the time make this look so easy.
Yeah.
If I know they're editing, but still. Of course, I spent all day yesterday running a chainsaw, so my right hand is tired.
Now, Zed has said, now I'm trying to imagine how I could make a turning tool out of a garden rake.
And I was thinking you could use that rake to clean up all these shavings, but
And Mike has
Yep.
replied, you can do as said, a beading rake.
yeah.
Lucy said, I'd love to see what Doug's workshop looks like after this.
Oh, it looks like a snowstorm in here now. It's terrible. I mean, my shop is not a clean shop to begin with, but yeah, this is awful. If I get my rough turning on the inside done, then I can bring my one nuts over and get this the wall section that's undercut. Or Ruby would suggest put your lock screw in your chuck and do it from the opposite side, or do it from this side but in reverse.
In reverse, yeah.
Yeah, I could do that, except I won't use a locking screw. I'm just kind of ornery that way.
Lucy said, could you imagine Brian's reaction to all the mess? I think she means.
I'm sorry. Imagine what?
Could you imagine what Brian's reaction would be to all the mess?
Mercy. Yeah, yeah. Oh, he was giving Pete a hard time there last week or something when Pete stopped and he said, "Oh, I'll clean it up in a week or two." Called him a lazy so and so. My goodness, there's a lot of noise coming out of the end of this handle.
It is transferring through your mic as well.
Yeah, I bet it is. It's loud. It's loud. Did I mute for a few minutes?
No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
All right.
StreamYard's doing a pretty good job of keeping that noise out. It's just that when it gets real rattly,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
start to hear it.
Well, that's what the sound is too. It's rattling.
Yeah.
And part of that is because I've got it's a hybrid blank, and I've got some hardwoods in here as well as this resin. Let's see. I think I'm still pretty thick in the bottom. Oh yeah, I still got an inch and a half. But we're getting there. We're getting there quicker than I could have.
Don't worry about the time, Doug. You're doing fine. So the title for my live tomorrow night is "Don't Know What I'm Doing." How unusual.
Yep. For y'all that don't know, Wayne is known for going live or just about to go live before he ever even picks up a piece of wood. And then complain when some people say, "No, I've never practiced this. I've never done it before." I remember so many times you used to tell Mark, "You always practice before you go live."
Yeah, you always, but you've got to practice before you do a live.
And Mark would say,
Have you practiced?
"Like you do."
Do as I say, not as I do. Right?
Uh-huh. Okay, I've got to back this tool rest out a good bit. There we go.
Yeah,
Gotta
when you
get that
move to
flat.
this number 2 hollower, you really got to move that tool rest back.
Yep.
To me, it feels like an uncomfortable distance because
Yeah.
I'm used to having that tool rest so close.
It does, but it's not.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Zed's just said he's just found a carbon steel garden rake. Oh God, here we go. Can't
Tune
wait to
in.
see the results of that.
Tune in next week when we combine growing tomatoes and turning with your garden rake.
I just found something that I don't like.
Oh no, it's loose.
It's loose.
I have never seen that happen on an easy wood tool.
I
Can
haven't
I
either.
recommend a coupler from Doug Thompson and a tool handle that you make similar to the one I showed last night?
Hmm. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I've got to contact Jordan at Easy Wood Tools anyway. I'll say, "Hey Jordan, my handle has come loose. Will y'all fix that?" And I bet she'll say, "Of course we will." Okay, let's put it back up close now that we're through with that tool for now. Yeah, for you folks who are not familiar with Easy Wood Tools, they are super good with their tools and taking care of their customers. Um, One of the biggest things I hear complaints about is see if I can get that where you can see it. There's a little tiny set screw right in the middle of there, and people break those off or they strip them out.
And it
And
is
Easy
tiny.
Wood,
It is
yes,
very tiny.
very tiny. Easy Wood, you call them when that happens, and they will make arrangements with you so you can send it back to them, and they will fix that.
And to avoid that from happening, clean that out really well before you stick that little wrench in there.
Oh
Absolutely.
yes, yeah.
That's
Now Mike is saying hit the bottom of the handle with a mallet. Would that tighten it? It may well do, Mike. It may
It
well
would,
do.
at least for a little while. I'm going to actually pull it all the way out, and I'm going to put a little bit of epoxy in there before I do that. Just
Now,
to
Roger's asking you, Doug, do you have a hollowing rig?
yes and no. I have one, but I've never gotten it out and set it up to see if to make sure it'll actually work on this lathe. I got it from a guy, from his wife. The man died. He was a well-known turner here in the Cincinnati area, and I got his hollowing rig and his um, steady rest. I've gotten the steady rest out. I need to have the hollowing rig, probably same thing.
The thing is, Roger,
So
it's
one of these
much
days,
more fun. It's much more fun doing it like this.
it is.
Let me ask you a question, Doug. How much deeper would you need to be going before you would want to study rest on this?
Oh, this really, there's no need for a steady rest on this.
Oh no, no need on that.
If I were to double the depth of this, maybe.
Okay, twice that
I've
deep.
I've turned 8-inch deep without a steady rest with no trouble whatsoever.
Yep, same here.
Yeah, if you go deeper than that, you're probably going to want a steady rest.
Yeah.
Or if it's a bigger, heavier piece of wood.
I don't even
You know,
have a
if it was,
steady rest.
I don't either.
let's see, I'm going to switch over to the finisher, work on the bottom. What in the world? Ah, one of my magnet trays just knocked it off. Love it. Luckily, there wasn't much in it. Ah. Getting up's the hardest part.
Oh yes, isn't it always?
Yeah, getting on the floor is no problem. I can fall down real well.
Yeah, I used to be able to get up quietly.
Yeah.
Now, Michael has said when you're changing over or loosening the tips, when you put the new one in, use the long side of the Allen key so you don't over tighten it.
Yep.
Great piece of advice.
Yep. And in fact, Christy there at Easy Wood Tool, I've heard her say that a time or two. Don't hold the long end and put the short end in to your screw because you tend to over tighten, which is absolutely true. Holy cow. Every pass, it just loads up that tool. In fact, let's go ahead and there we go.
Mike
In
is
reverse.
asking, are you going to use the depth gauge or are you going to eyeball it? There you go.
I can feel I've got 3/4 of an inch to go.
So as you can see, Doug has decided to put it in reverse and go in from the other side.
Yep. Can reach that lower outside a whole lot easier. Plus, I'm not sticking my shoulder in your all's way. And I'm not hogging it out either, so it's light cuts. If I was hogging it out, a good possibility of pulling it right off the chuck or the chuck off of the lathe. And I don't need to do that either. That's
Yeah, Michael McEwen said eyeballing is much more interesting and sometimes exciting. Lol.
yeah, yeah.
And Mike has said Pooh Bear approves of the shape.
Nice flat across the bottom. Let's clean it out, and I do want to check it. I'm not totally foolish. Just part way, right?
Mike also said, Obi-Wan Kenobi says use the Force.
I still got an inch
Obi-Wan
to go.
Kenobi.
That's right.
Thanks for that, Mike.
Yes, the wizardry of Wayne Clasper. Oh yeah, we're getting somewhere. I've also, there's my tool. There's the bottom side. I've ground a little bit off of this edge as well, so that I can actually get in closer to the wood. Not off the top, but only off the bottom. But you got to be careful. You don't want to get into your screw there, which I got right up to it. And that was at the suggestion of the originator. So
Yeah, it can be tough sometimes because when you're inside a bowl like that and you pretty much need to be turning it, cutting it center. If you go any higher than center, you lose the angle on your cutter, and you go any lower than center, the bottom of your bar is going to touch, and that gives you a little more leeway there.
right, yeah, and it's not much, but it's enough. Good grief, enough to make a difference.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Just it's a matter of smoothing out my ridges now, which is not a big deal. I hit the on button instead of stop button. Yeah, you don't want to be below center, and above center is okay, but just fractionally. You don't.
Yep.
Because then you have other issues.
Yeah,
All right,
using
down toward the
carbides
bottom. I got ridges.
using carbides is totally different to using high-speed steel scrapers.
Yeah,
With high-speed
really
steel
is.
scrapers, you need to be on center or above center. With carbides, you really need to be on center.
Or at least really, really close. Really close. Now, what do we got? Oh, not bad. Not bad. Yeah, there's one ridge, right? Okay, I see where it is.
Now, the one thing I would say, now, easy wood tools, obviously, they are square bars. The one thing I would say is having a carbide on a round bar, you can actually tilt the carbide easier than with the square bar if you want to get a
Yeah.
shear cut.
Yes, yes. Like Glenn Teagle talks about so much. I can turn this one up. It's just not, I've kind of got to watch what I'm doing and pay attention.
I like to
With
turn
a,
it up a little bit right there when I'm on the rim.
yes, a little less aggressive,
Yeah.
more of a negative rake.
Roger asked if you, with the mess of resin, are you going to consider turning a bowling ball?
I've got a couple of bowling balls. I just gotta build up my nerve for those. I've turned pool balls before.
Now,
Oh my goodness, you're talking about a mess.
the inside of bowling balls aren't very hard, are they?
It's no, they're more of a, they're not plaster, but they're something of that nature. They get dusty. All right, let's put that back and forward, turn the speed down.
Michael McEwen has said, "Don't let Chris from Easy Wood Tools see you tilting that tool."
Yep. Toe the
I've
company
seen
line.
I've seen Christy do it.
Flat on the
It's just
toolbar, parallel
that's
to
what
the
they typically
ground,
say. Yeah,
on center. Yep.
yeah. Which is how Chris meant for them to be turned or used when um, Craig Jackson designed them. That's what he meant for it to be done. So it was as simple as possible. But we can create that negative rake for little light finishing cuts without any problem. And I've seen Christy do it. So.
Mike from Dantas said, talking about the bowling balls, they can be, but some of them are soft, but others are epoxy and stone dust.
Yeah. They used to be, the old bowling balls used to have or they could, with the bigger, heavier ones would have a metal weight in them. I think they've pretty well quit doing that now. The last time I contacted a bowling ball company asking them about a weight in a bowling ball, the guy got real indignant. He did not want to tell me anything about it. I guess trade secrets, maybe. I don't know. He was kind of ugly about it.
Carsten's asking, since how you're standing, is the dust extractor on?
It's not at the moment. I'm about to turn it on, though. Oh, now it's on.
The only time I hear that dust extractor is when it starts up and when it switches off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I tell you.
Other than that, don't hear it at all. Oh, Mark's just come in. The gentleman wood turner. He's just popping in for a quick visit. Evening, Mark.
Glad to have you, Mark. This is some exotic wood that we're turning today. Let you get a view of it on the outside, anyway. Oh. Okay, I got one little kick out place right here. I'm not sure. That's 80 grit, and I think it's pretty well dull. It needs to be tossed and go to another piece, but I think I got enough to finish.
Right, Zed has said, I don't know if this is relating to the inside of bowling balls, but he said, I don't know if this is a joke or not. It's plasticonium arbori.
Sounds made up, so it's probably real.
Now, seeing as how you just come in, Mark, Doug is not turning the bowling ball. Somebody asked the question. Somebody asked the question if he was going to.
Yeah, I think all my bowling balls are on the other end of the shop, or I'd grab one real quick.
Now, Zed has said that is the type of wood Doug is turning now. Plasticonium arbori.
Okay.
Okay, plastic and wood.
Yeah. Ah, that feels so much better after we went from 80 to 120. Makes all the difference in the world, even though I hate this 120.
Angry Wood Turner is replying to Zed has said, a relative of the rubber tree.
Now, I just recently heard you cannot turn rubber tree. I don't know if that's true or not.
You probably can.
I don't
I
know if
mean,
I
there's
saw it somewhere or somebody said
the
it. I don't remember.
well, I don't know. Is not quite a different wood products come from rubber trees.
I don't know.
Carson's having to go. He says it's bedtime for little boys in Denmark. Hang on, Carson. Little boys, you're about 9'10". Alice said that rim just sets off the whole piece.
It's nice. I've got a nice blue ring around there. Yeah, I agree. I like it.
Zed says it really resonates with the audience.
Dear me.
All right. Final bit of sandpaper on here. I really thought Jamie might show up since there's resin and Easy Wood tools involved.
Larry's just come in. Larry Aldridge.
Hey, Larry. Glad to have you.
I figured he had some kind of sixth sense around that.
Well, he's on the list, Todd.
Yeah.
Now, Zombie has said the rubber tree, Ficus elastica, seems to be more a vine than a tree, and as such might be challenging to turn, perhaps spindle turning.
Maybe.
I don't know. Do they not get the rubber from the sort of the sapwood part of the tree?
They drain the sap like they do maple trees for syrup.
Yeah.
Put a tap in it.
But you can turn maple, can't you?
Oh yeah, it's a hardwood.
So, and I'm sure I've seen other types of products, the likes of chopping boards and things like this, made from rubber trees.
You may have.
And Mike has said it might be hard to turn, but you get a rubbery finish.
I bet.
Just what we all hope for.
Was that the Chinese rubber one? Sorry.
Again, somewhere there's a camera. I know we have one. There we go. Little abrasive sanding paste. All right.
Now Zed has just put his he's put a link into Wikipedia, a link in from Wikipedia about rubber trees. And people could also go to the wood database to find out all about rubber tree.
Absolutely. Well, we say that. We went to the database, whatever that wood was. The sea grape. That's what it was.
You were breaking up there, Doug, a bit.
Sea grape. It didn't understand sea grape.
Yeah, and
but Uncle Google did.
I think we also looked up for banana tree as well, didn't we?
I don't know, did we?
I'm sure somebody mentioned that over the past couple of weeks.
I would think banana tree and rubber tree would be very similar. Speed up one notch and still using that same area on the paper towel. It's breaking down nicely. I can feel it. A little more speed. Clean area on the paper towel. More speed.
Mike said banana wood is prone to warping.
Get a fresh paper towel. Sorry, banana wood is what?
Prone to warping.
Ah. Probably gets to be kind of C-shaped pretty quickly, doesn't it?
It does. Lucy said years ago the newsletter for Yorkshire family history used to be called the Banyan Tree. Zed said banana plants are very fleshy, sprouting things, more a plant than a tree. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think they've got much of a grain at all.
Probably not. Might look good with some stain on it. Color or dyes, whatever. If it can be worked.
Well, the thing is, I mean, anything can. It doesn't have to be wood. I mean, I've seen people turn potatoes, turn apples, turn various
True.
bits
Yeah.
of fruit.
Pumpkins.
Roger says those banana plants turn brown and draw flies. My dad told me a couple of days ago when I went to the store, he said, "Look, I'm too old. I don't buy green bananas anymore."
Yeah.
So,
All right. Get some serious speed going. It's up to 2,000 RPMs just to buff this in. Kind of a medium pressure.
Michael McEwen said carrots turn quite well.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's loads of stuff that turn well.
and there's all kinds of stuff that people cast in resin instead of wood like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Pasta, pine cones.
Yeah, but where a lot of people go wrong when they're casting in resin is that they use stuff that's got a lot of moisture content.
Yeah, too
Yeah.
much moisture.
Yeah.
You can only turn different things, cast different things in resin if it's already dry or if it's been vacuumed with cactus juice
Yes.
beforehand.
Yes. Even with
even the,
cactus juice, you got to have some dry material.
yeah, that cactus juice will foam up a little bit if the moisture is too high.
Sure will. Don't ask me how I know. Okay.
Stabilized. Thank you, Mike.
That's the word.
It's my age. I forget words.
I just lose words. I lose words.
Well, Doug,
Terrible.
it's a shame this thing's not shiny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. I need to go to that one. Click there. Dun, dun,
That's really
dun.
smart.
Yeah, you nailed this one, Doug.
Definitely.
Does still have the tenon on it, but that'll go away. I'll reverse that in my little small cold jaws. Got this nice little outward turn lip will grab real nice in those cold jaws, and I can take that tenon off. And I'll even go up. I'll hollow that out. I've still got plenty of meat in the bottom of there. And because of the resin, man, it's pretty heavy, but I can tell it's what I meant for it to be or what it ought to be. So anyway, like I said, random bits of pen blank scrap tossed into a container, blue and gold resin thrown in there. Bring it up close, you might see.
Now,
Yeah,
Michael asking you, was the wood stabilized, Doug?
this wood was not stabilized. It was all bone dry. Most of it is oak. I do have a piece of walnut right there. There was a piece of purple heart that was up in the top. I guess I turned it completely away. But most of this is oak with a little bit of walnut. Um, and that's all because and that's a piece of cherry right there. Real nice piece of cherry. But the last big batch of pins I turned was oak, and so in fact that oak comes out of a church pew. I was given biggest part of a church pew, and I cut it up into pin blanks. So there
Now,
you have it, folks.
to go along with Michael's question there, a lot of people say they'll only cast stabilized wood, but I've had really good luck casting dry wood. So
Yeah, as long as you know it's dry.
yeah,
Um, Stabilizing, if the wood is punky at all, if it is has a moisture content above, well, if it has any moisture content really, I would suggest stabilizing. Things like Banksia pods work well after they've been. Of course, we faded out right there. Okay, corn cob turns very well after it's been stabilized. Otherwise, you spend most of your time applying CA glue. You turn for about 2 seconds and you add more CA glue. So anyway, yeah, as long as it's dry, you're in pretty good shape. So anyhow, any other question? Anything else we've lost? Thank you, Lucy.
Michael has said you may want to put a top coat finish on there due to future wood movement.
Uh, could wax typically. Most of my
Right.
bowls are only wax, so
Yeah.
the wax would
And
be fine on this.
Anthony Green is asking, what's the difference between stabilized and dry wood? Right, Anthony. Stabilized wood. What you do with stabilized wood is that you use a vacuum chamber and something
Hmm.
like cactus juice, which is a type of resin. But in a
Hmm.
vacuum chamber, what happens is within the vacuum, you pull all of the air out of the wood, and then it gets impregnated with the cactus juice.
Yeah,
So it actually stabilizes the wood. So it's basically dry. Well, it's not basically dry. What you've got to do then is dry it out in a oven, so it becomes totally dry. And that's the difference between dry wood and stabilized wood. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't turn resin and knows nothing about resin.
sounded
but
like
you're
you nailed
exactly
it to
right.
me.
You you draw the air out, then you release the vacuum, and leave the wood in the cactus juice or whatever the product is that you're using, and that will actually go back in and replace where the air was, and so it's fused inside the wood. Um,
And it can easily
Jake
take
Thompson,
8 or 10 hours to
oh,
pull the air out.
overnight,
And
absolutely,
then you want to spend twice as much time with it soaking in the resin as you did
right,
vacuuming it.
right.
Now, the good thing about doing this is, um, if you're doing right, I wouldn't recommend it doing it with very hard woods. It doesn't work very well with very hard woods, very tight grained woods, the likes of rosewoods, the very tight burrs you get from Australia, and things like this.
Yeah,
What it does work very well with is punky woods, with very spalted woods that have gone past where you can just ordinarily turn it, because it makes it very hard. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I didn't hear most of it.
Oh, sorry, Doug.
My, I think this No, it's not your fault. It's the I think it's the heat messing with my fiber optic. So anyway, um, yes, super hard woods don't work quite as well if they're hard. If they're not hard, go for it. You know, if they're punky at all, um, softer woods like pine, you can make that pine turn like a hardwood by stabilizing it. Um, so anyway, all that to say, yes, a lot of people will not cast a wood that's not stabilized because they've had moisture problems at some point. So I've been very fortunate. I did not stabilize this. This was all dry oak, or mostly oak. The
Right.
walnut and cherry that was there was dry as
Right.
well.
Mark, the gentleman wood turner, has said some really tight grain woods are also hard to get off worm screws. Are they, Wayne? Cheers, Mark.
oh, oh, Mark, you went there.
Oh wow.
You used to be one of my best mates. Now, Zed has said to Doug, I have a Kentucky question.
Yeah,
What is city ham?
yeah. What is city ham? Yeah. The difference between country ham and city ham. Country ham is cured with a lot of salt and other potassium nitrate and those kinds of things. City ham, they replace the salt with sugar. And it's, to me, it's so much better. I can't stand country ham. It smells bad. It tastes bad. My wife loves it. My son loves it. I can't abide it. So anyway,
Well,
when
hang on, Doug. I've got a question on that, Doug.
that's
Now,
great information.
right, I've got a question on that because the majority of bacon is salt cured, not sugar
Yeah,
cured.
yeah,
Do you like
right.
bacon?
Love bacon. Difference is bacon goes through a brine and then it's dried um, more, well, it's smoked after that. Ham is brined and then it hangs in a meat house for months and months to
Oh,
dry out naturally.
yeah,
Typically in a
probably,
bag full of salts and sugar, brown
Yeah,
sugar.
yeah, probably over a year.
yeah, over a year.
If
People here,
especially if you're talking about the likes of Parma ham.
yeah, the all of the local fairs, all your county fairs, and even the state fair, they have competitions for country hams, and those country hams will go up for auction, and they'll, there it is. No, we're still not there. I've been
Yeah,
trying to
we're
bring you
losing
guys
you,
back in.
Doug.
Yeah, we are here, Doug, but we are losing you.
We don't hear him at all now.
No,
I see him waving goodbye. Maybe now's the time to say goodbye and thanks to everybody. Is that what you're doing, Doug?
We go.
There he is.
Stream
nope,
it.
still not there.
I was going to, not there.
Hit
You
the
don't hear
button,
me?
Doug. Hit the button.
Thank you, everybody. We enjoyed it. I hope Doug did too. Come see Wayne tomorrow.
Hit the
Same
button.
time, same channel.